the history that will inspire the millions that are coming and leave the posterity of our enemies to reckon with the hosts for the deeds of their fathers. The black race is one of the branches of the human race. As a section of humanity, he occupies a position in a world at the present time most unfavorable and most uncomfortable. The black people are subjects of ostracism. It is sad that our humanity has shown us no more love, no greater sympathy than we are experiencing. Wheresoever you go throughout the world, the black man is discarded, is ostracized, is relegated to the lowest in things, social, economic, and political. This therefore suggests a problem, and one that must be solved. We in this section of the world are not entirely free from this unkind, unsympathetic, and uncharitable behavior of the groups or races around us. But since man has been placed on his own responsibility, whether he be black, white, or yellow, he must act on his own account. We will not unduly whine or complain, but reason among ourselves and see what can be done to remedy this state of affairs. I select this subject so I may be able to reach out and touch your hearts and minds, so that we may with better understanding go forward and fight properly and surely the battle of life. Life is a conflict. You have to fight your way through it, whether you will it or not. Those who are able to fight most stubbornly live, accomplish most, and to them go the laurels, the palms and triumph of our civilization and world. We unfortunately have not been trained nor educated to the truths of life, paradoxically so. May I say something? To give you a true knowledge of yourself and life, so that the same glory and success attained by other men who understand themselves may be yours. Man in the full knowledge of himself is a superb and supreme creature of creation. When man becomes possessor of the knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment, the captain of his own ship, the director of his own destiny, the accomplisher of his own ends. Man should understand himself because man is full of knowledge, and this knowledge is a gift of nature. When Mother Nature created man, she deprived him of nothing. He was given the faculty of understanding all things around him, and this faculty for understanding has not been taken away from man. None of his senses have been taken away from him. So there is no excuse for the black man in lacking the knowledge that man has used to beautify the world and produce all that he needs for his happiness and civilization. Look the world over, and whatever you see in it that is pleasing to man, contributing to man's comfort, to his needs, and to his satisfaction, it is but the work of man. Man blessed with the knowledge of himself and the understanding of all things around him. If you are to live with the knowledge of yourself and with the greater knowledge of nature, you must know what is good and what is not. You must know what is finite. You must know that which is material, physical, or otherwise, is at your disposal to create or otherwise use. Yet what have we done in years gone by? There are very few things that we can place to our accomplishment for the past years. At the services of the white race, the bishops of the counties and shires of England will be compelled to discourse upon the grand achievements of the Anglo-Saxon. They will tell you of the flight of the mighty aeroplane R-101 to India, which, although unsuccessful, was a new conquest of the white man in engineering. They will tell you of the conquests in art, industry, in literature. New books have been written, new additions have been made to literature by the Englishman. In the great cathedral of Notre Dame in France, the bishop lecturing to Frenchmen will tell them of the wonderful achievements of the Frenchman. They will tell you that they have crossed the channel with greater speed than they did previously. They will tell you that they have flown from France to England in shorter time than ever before. If we leave the European countries and go to America, whether it be in the Holy Cross Cathedral in Washington or any of the great cathedrals of New York, the bishops are telling of the wonderful works the American geniuses have accomplished. If we leave America and go over to the east, to Japan, they will be telling their fellow citizens of Japan of the wonderful accomplishments of the Japanese people, proving that man is moving onward as time moves on. But you, what can I tell you? I can only point you to yourselves as disorganized. You have shown malice, prejudice, and hate to each other, and the result is that while other races have made progress, while India has made progress towards nationalism, while Ireland has made progress towards republicanism, while the whole world has made progress in man's accomplishments, you still stand fighting yourselves, dishonoring yourselves, showing no disposition toward the higher life, so that you will be abundantly best. I do hope that you will so reflect and think that you were created for some purpose other than exhibiting malice towards your neighbor or fellow men of your own race. What a pity it is that we cannot stand united without a written law, as other races do. There is no written law compelling the members of other races to stand together. They are brought together by the gentle touch of nature. The unwritten law of nature calls them to stand together on all occasions. So whether you find them in the field, industrial or political, that one touch of gentle nature causes them to stand together, if need be, die together. But with the black race, you can preach from pulpits, you lecture from the platforms, from the byways and the hedges, the spirit of cooperation, but he will not cooperate. You talk to him gently, you talk to him roughly, and still he will not cooperate. The result is that he falls prey to those who are united without a written law, but by the touch of nature, those who possess an understanding of themselves and walk through the world making you their serfs and slaves. You must acquire an understanding of yourselves. Look around you, see the smiling pictures of nature, the beautiful hedges, the wonderful mountains, the wonderful vegetation all around, the wonderful climate, the beautiful sunset, the salubrious breezes, probably not to be duplicated in any part of the world. But because of your disposition to each other, you live in suffering, in want, in penury, and in debt. You lack the gentle touch of nature, love for each other. You hate yourselves. We in this part of the world constitute 1 millionth part of 400 million, and there are not 10 of us united in the real spirit of racial love. As I have said before, a congregation of white men gathered together as you are, if you were to take a true analysis of their souls, you would find that the heart of every man present beats in unison, carrying out a certain object for the protection of himself and his posterity. But with you it is merely different. That is your disposition. Where are we going to end? I cannot tell. It seems peculiar that we have sprung from the same mold and yet be so different. Our lack of success is traceable to our bad conduct. At the present time, there is great agitation in the country about aliens coming here and monopolizing our trade. How can we blame them when they form such a small part of our population and cannot control themselves? If there is any blame, it is yours because of the lack of cooperation among you. For they could have achieved no success if we didn't want them to. The success we should have, we deny ourselves and give it to them because we hate ourselves. Black men, black women, what is wrong with you? Why have you no affection for yourselves? Could I hope to see you living among yourselves as the people I have spoken of, living in charity, love, in sympathy with each other? It can be done. I wonder if you will adopt that course. Isn't it easier to enjoy prosperity than to live in ignorance and darkness? Why select the worst out of nature? Nature never gave pain, suffering, and death to the world. It was man himself who selected death, pain, and sorrow. I wonder if I cannot inspire you to select between good and evil, the enjoyment of which nature is willing to yield. Let me impress upon you once again that whatsoever your hardships may be, whatsoever your difficulties in life, they are all your own selection. And so, if you encourage them, if you husband them and take them to your bosom, they will abide with you. Nature will not take them from you, as Mother Nature did not give them to you. She is not responsible for your sorrows. Mother Nature represents all that is beautiful. She gave you the highest personality in the realm divine. Your sorrows are your own. Your neighbor doesn't want to hear them because he didn't give them to you. Black men and women, will you get the knowledge that white men have that causes them to be leaders and masters in the world? They are not gods with a peculiar source of understanding the world around them. They have only given expression to the knowledge of their humanity and been able to use and conquer all to their own satisfaction and glory. And that is why they are always greater than you in every community that you find them. Isn't it strange that wherever the white man is found, he takes precedence over you? Why is that so? Answer that for yourselves, black men and black women. Wheresoever you come in contact with a white man, you always have to go down in defeat before him. Why? Whether it be in England or France or in America, you always have to go down to the white man, and yet he has 2 eyes, 2 feet, 2 hands, same passions, same senses and feelings as you have. Your feet are not put on opposite sides, nor your hands turned the other way around. But it is because you fail to use your will, your knowledge, and your mental faculties to the point where you will enjoy life around you. I am not in the gutters and in the pond of despair because I use my intelligence. But I swear that no man alive shall ever use his intelligence in understanding the works of nature more than I. I shall rise as high as he ascends. I shall meet him on the same platform of mental equality and fight him until thy kingdom come, because nature created us equal. I want you to make up your minds as I have made my mind up many years ago. Make up your minds that you will rise to the knowledge of your soul and extract from Mother Nature the blessings that she will be willing to bestow on her sons. Take from her her sweet drinking water, extract what is pure and reject what is impure. That is what other races do. But you, because of your ignorance, cannot understand and decide between good and evil. With a greater knowledge of life, you're able to appreciate all things around you. I'm able to speak to you here because I understand you. Understand your neighbor, your wife, your children, and you will be able to live in harmony with each other and get the best out of life. One man lives in his home pleasantly. He understands his wife, children, his servants. He knows their movements and knows how to interpret them. A second man fails to get along with his family due to the lack of understanding. You will hear a man say, Mr. So-and-so is a nice man to get along with. This is due to the mutual understanding between these two men. As of that citation, so of the laws of nature. So many of you die, so many of you suffer because of your ignorance of the laws of nature. The early Africans were able to be fathers of our civilization because they persevered in their object. When we hear of the civilization of the Alexandrias, of the Timbuktus, the creation of the black man in the early ages, do we realize that the civilization we now enjoy was handed down to the present century, and that the improved civilization that we see is the results of the civilization that the black men laid down thousands of years ago? But the black man went back to sleep and is still sleeping, but we are trying to awaken you to the true consciousness of yourselves. You young black men, you young black women, may we not appeal to you, knowing you as we do, to turn over a new leaf, rejecting the ignorance, the foolishness, the childishness that has been your part for these many years. We have looked into your faces for these many years, you, the growing mankind, the rising generation, and no serious thought can we see registered on your countenance but the thought of vulgarity. I have been in your presence and my heart bleeds for you, the conduct you reflect. I have listened to your dirty language used to express yourselves when you could have expressed yourselves in good form. Can I appeal to the black manhood to turn over a new leaf? I'm ashamed of my black manhood. What I have said to the black men, I also say to the black women. Your conduct is disgraceful. Young women whose personality spells respectability, at the least provocation, the filthy words they utter would always make you run and turn away from them. A race that cannot conduct itself any better than that is bound to go down in defeat, is bound to go down in death, in hell and degradation, while the other race is bound to reach the pinnacle above. Your conduct is going to destroy you. You are driving your best friends away from you. Men will not respect you because you do not respect yourself. As I come in contact with my race, both from a financial and social point of view, I realize how weak we are in the essentials that make for success. You are your own worst enemy. The black man goes into business and tries to do right things, but what do we find? He gets no support from his fellow man. They lie on him, rob him, and the next thing you hear, he's out of business, pulled down by you, his brothers. The other people, by their honesty and faith that they exhibit in each other, are bound to succeed. We, the blacks, have no faith and are dishonest to each other. But I do hope that time will bring a better spirit of cooperation and unity. There is no love for the man in black. See how we are struggling on this earth, struggling as strangers in a foreign clime, struggling in America, in Europe, in Asia, and in Africa, where men look upon us not with love.